Hey everybody, wanted to take a couple minutes today and talk about storing your baits and urines after the season is over. So this is kind of what I've got left over a little bit here. I've got maybe two or three. A couple of those are empty, but I think I got like 3 things of bait. And like one of them's half full, one of them's a third full, one of them's, I don't know, a little bit more than 2/3 full. I got several different lures here. Most of them are pretty close to being empty. Some of them are about half empty. And then I've got some urine down here. Obviously I use these little spray bottles for my urine. And then I've got a couple of containers here, one of Red Fox and one of Bobcat that still have urine in them. So what do you do with these containers at the end of the season? Well, what I do with them is I simply keep them here on a shelf. You can keep them in your fur shed. You can keep them, I wouldn't recommend putting them in your garage unless you have to, because your significant other's probably not going to like that too much, because the garage is going to smell like bait all year and lure. So keep them in your shed, keep them in your shop, keep them in someplace where the smell doesn't bother them. You can't. People have asked me, do you keep them in the refrigerator? I do not. You obviously want to make sure, if you're going to do that, you keep them in a separate refrigerator versus the one that you use with your wife. You do not have to do that, but you can if you want. If you have a fridge in your shop, you want to keep them in the fridge, you can do that. But it's not necessary. It's definitely not needed. These lures and these baits are all treated with different chemicals, different preservatives, things of that nature, that's going to let that bait last throughout the whole summer and into the fall and up until trapping season. The same with the lures. The only thing I do is, if the bottle is kind of messy, I wipe off the outside of the bottle, get all the grunge off of it, and then what I do is I'll take a clear piece of like that mailing tape or something like that, and I'll put that over the label on the outside of the bottle, simply because over time the label will sometimes fall off, and I don't want that to happen, so I know exactly what it is. So I'll do that, and then sometimes I'll wipe down around the lid, take the lid off, wipe down around the lid, wipe down the lid itself maybe, and just kind of clean that up a little bit so it doesn't like rust throughout the season. Or the off season, and that's it. Then I store them down here on the shelf. You just want to make sure that wherever you're going to store them, they're not in the sun. If you put them in the sun, that's when, even though there's preservatives and stuff in there, it's going to ruin your baits and your lures. So out of the sun, nice dark spot on a shelf, in a cabinet, whatever you got, away from things, and they should be good to go. Your urines, what I do with my urines is I will take the urine out of these spray bottles and put it back into the larger bottles. They obviously will not be full, but I try to fill them up as far as I can. And the main reason for that is, over the off season, ammonia is going to build up inside that bottle. And when you open up that bottle for trapping season, you're going to smell that ammonia. That does not mean that the urine is bad. It just means that you need to take the lid off, and you need to basically let it air out for a while, and within a couple hours it should be pretty good to go, and then you're back in business again. So there will be some ammonia that'll build up in your urines, just like any urine, over time, but that's it. So what I do is I try to fill up my main bottles with everything I have in those bottles. That way, the fuller they are, the less ammonia will build up, and then come season, I'll put them back in my spray bottles and move on down the road. So pretty simple. I've got some feathers up there. I've got some sheep's wool up here. I keep all this stuff in on these couple shelves, and that's all you got to do. So I hope this helps, and if you're still trapping, if you still got a little season in, hope things are working out. And for all of us that trapping season is out, well, it's going to be a while before we can get back out there, but that's okay. We've got lots of videos we can do in the meantime. So have a good day.